When we picture the deities of ancient mythology, we tend to imagine intimidating, untouchable rulers looking down from high above the mortal realm. If a being possesses ultimate power, the immediate assumption is that they use it to conquer. We picture them leveling mountains, hurling fire, and waging endless wars across the cosmos. Framing absolute power this way builds a massive, unbridgeable gap. It separates the flawless elite living in the sky from the vulnerable humans trying to survive on the ground. Then there is Thor. He completely breaks that mold. In Norse mythology, he operates completely outside the role of an intimidating warlord. He is an accessible, highly approachable guardian who protects both the golden realm of Asgard and the earth below. To understand how he operates, we need to break down his specific anatomy. When you look at the mechanics of how he actually functions, his defining trait isn't his physical muscle, it is his absolute willingness to help. Examining his methods reframes the concept of ultimate power. Instead of a mechanism to intimidate, power becomes a practical tool for public service. We start with his inventory. Thor relies on a very specific set of equipment to get his job done. He carries 3 distinct items: a belt of strength, iron gloves, and a hammer. But rather than weapons designed for battlefield slaughter, he uses them like a superhero utility belt to manage complex, large-scale crises. His hammer perfectly illustrates this. Rather than just striking with force, its function is constructive, channeling protective magic, consecrating boundaries, and blessing marriages and crops. Look at that loadout. He carries the exact tools required to repair and maintain the world, rather than dismantle it. Next, we have to look at how he moves from place to place. While other deities soar miles above the earth as eagles or ravens, Thor stays close to the dirt. He travels in a chariot, keeping him directly tied to the physical, terrestrial world. And that chariot isn't pulled by majestic Pegasi or dragons. It relies on 2 highly energetic goats named Tengrisnir and Tengyuster. It is a distinctly rustic, unglamorous way to travel. By choosing a wagon and a pair of goats, the strongest being in the sky remains entirely approachable to the regular people on the ground. The final piece of his anatomy is his temperament. We can see exactly how he handles his own ego by looking at his trip to the land of the giants. During his visit, the giants challenge him to a series of tests. One of them sounds incredibly basic: just lift a small pet cat off the floor. As the physically strongest deity in existence, Thor assumes this will take 0 effort. He reaches down to pick it up, but the animal refuses to budge. He pulls with all his strength, straining and sweating, lifting only a single paw into the air. He fails the test because it was completely rigged. His friend Loki and the giants used magic to disguise the Midgard serpent, a beast so massive it encircles the entire globe, as a tiny house cat. The fact that he falls for this illusion tells us exactly who he is. He doesn't dismiss a silly challenge as beneath him. He approaches it with complete earnestness, giving his absolute maximum effort without letting pride stop him from participating. When we step back from the myth and look at the historical record, it is clear exactly who Thor was serving. Combine the utility belt, the goat-drawn wagon, and the humble willingness to look foolish. Those specific traits made him massively popular with ordinary, everyday humans. Farmers, in particular, viewed him as their direct patron. They relied on his control over the rain for their harvests, and trusted his strength to keep their homesteads safe from hostile forces. The evidence shows he was never intended to be an aristocrat in the clouds. Every part of his design points to a figure built to champion the working class. So when we review his complete anatomy, we find a being defined by accessibility and a sense of humor. He solves problems instead of creating them. This completely subverts our standard definition of authority. According to the Norse tradition, being strong does not mean remaining distant, acting untouchable, or maintaining a flawless image. The stories of the Thunderer demonstrate a clear principle. Having immense power is only meaningful when you use it to protect the vulnerable, guard the community, and help whoever happens to need it.